You know, one subject I want to go on to is darkness or black. The color black or black man. In any form you want to look at darkness. You know? You have words like blacklist, blackmail, black ice, black death. You have all, and I'm sure you can come up with a lot more words where you will find that the color black is always looked at as a negative, you know. If you go into funerals, you dress in black. I don't think everyone do that. Some people dress in white still, but you know what I mean. It's generally black, like a mournful color. If their money business crash tomorrow, they will call tomorrow Black Wednesday. You know what I mean? So the color black is seen as a negative. You know what I mean? And it seems to me that the people who we call black people, other people seems to look at them as a negative as well. You know what I mean? And black people are very funny. When I say funny, you know, we're all the same human beings. But as far as I can see, black people are the only people with woolen curly hair. You know what I mean? All the rest of the brothers has got straight hair. You know what I mean? But because black is seen as so negative, even black people themselves don't like themselves. You know what I mean? Because the majority of black people are trying their best to be like other people rather than be themselves. Black people are the only people that I know that will try and look like another people. Like wearing wigs or straightening out them hair to look like white people or Indian people, I don't know. Black people are the only set of people I know who adapt the names of other people. Like calling themselves Mohammed or, you know, Arabic names. Well, my name is Paul still. We know that due to slavery they steal our name and we don't know our name, so it's a natural adoption. But I don't know no European who are calling themselves after Africans. Neither do I know any Chinese or any Indians that do this. Only black people alone I know who seems to be ashamed of themselves. You know, that they would rather imagine that God created you. Yeah? So don't forget that God is all wise, you know. So in his great wisdom he chose to give you curling, woolen hair and black skin. Yeah? And you let others convince you that the way that God created you is not right. So therefore you would rather model yourself, yeah, and somebody else rather than be yourself. Now I know this is going to hurt every Jerry curl man and every Jerry curl woman and every wig wearing black woman, a wig wearing black man who is trying to impersonate somebody else. But ask your own self, why are you ashamed? Imagine if God said to you, why are you wearing a wig? What are you going to tell you? That because you want to look better. So if you ask you, say then, so the curly hair where I man give you, is that not good enough for you? You see what I mean? So the color black has been made into such negative that even those people who possess the color want to get away from it. Even right now in these modern times, you have people bleaching themselves. You know what I mean? Like Michael Jackson, bleaching themselves. If you look at all the pop stars now, what them have, Beyonce, Rihanna, and all the big American pop stars, all of them look like European women with straight curly hair. You know what I mean? Because they're not. Do you really believe that any being who loves themselves could do such a thing to themselves? You know what I mean? There is no way if you love yourself you could do such a thing for yourself. But because of all the negativity that is associated with the color black, you know what I mean? Even Satan is portrayed as a dark, shadowy, you know what I mean? But listen to this now, no? There's a lot of positivity in black, which you might not be aware of. Because before there was any light, everything was in complete darkness. So, light come out of darkness, so darkness is the original power. And in fact, it is the power. All secrets are hidden in the dark. Light only reveals the secret of the dark. You see what I mean? Even Jah himself is in the dark. And that is why these human brains cannot perceive Jah. Even I man sitting in front of you is in the dark. That's why you cannot see me. You see what I mean? But never mind that. I and I can see into the heart and soul and mind of all human beings. From within the dark. Because from within the dark I possess the light. The light that helps you to penetrate the dark. Because the darkness is no other than Rastafari himself. The living God. So, have no fear of the dark. You know what I mean? You should rise up. You know what I mean? You should be proud of your black woolen hair and your big ugly black face and nose. Just like the way God created you still, you know? That is not to say the white man should not be proud of the way God created him, because that's the way God created him. I'm just telling you, the black man or the black woman who like to grease up here. You see what I mean? And try to be like other human beings. This is the time when the Father is saying to you, what is the matter with you? Is it something wrong? Something must be wrong within your mind and your soul and your heart. So you need to look into yourself carefully. You know how many different hairstyles Africans have for the hair? Beautiful hairstyle. And why are you not wearing an African hairstyle instead of a European hairstyle? That means you've been taken from the tree. If Africa was a tree, you've been removed from that tree and been grafted onto a tree that you don't belong to. You see what I mean? So you need to get back to roots to understand yourself within this time. All human beings must know their roots, because if you do not know your roots, you will be lost. You understand? In the dark. One thing about the dark, just like I told you before, in the beginning, light come out of darkness. And they also say that in the end, light shall again come out of darkness. You see what I mean? So, I have a story that I like. They said, the stone that the builder refused shall be the head cornerstone. And in my estimation anyway, you know what I mean? I reckon I'm a fair judge. I reckon the people on the planet are very racist towards black. Black man, you know, he's a black man myself, so I know about these things. I'm not saying everyone is, you know. I'm saying in general. You know what I mean? I and I have been rejected as a savage, because everyone seems that they want to come to Africa to educate me, if you know what I mean. They want to come and either teach me Christianity or Islam. Whatever it is, they want to come and teach me. It's as if God himself give everyone intelligence, but not me. This is what they are trying to portray to me. It's as if they are saying, listen man, you are a savage Rasta. You do not know what is right. We have to teach you. You see what I mean? Because the mighty God has revealed himself to us through his son or whatever they're telling you. And don't forget, we have all the scientists. We can explain all the work, the universe, how it starts and everything and all that. So, you know, you are less than a human being. You see what I mean? But I am putting it to the human being like this in this time, that God himself is a comedian. You see what I mean? So because God himself is a comedian, now God is saying, watch them people here now. What I am going to do, I am going to use the very man or the very people that they reject to teach and educate them. Yeah, so that's what I reckon God is playing at. Plus following logic. If you want to reach the highest, you have to start at the lowest. So in this time, Jah want to reach the highest. So he have to start with the lowest. And the lowest is the black man. This is why I say we should have built a house. You know, black man is always in the lowest position. And that is your position, the lowest one, because you are the foundation of creation. You see what I mean? So if anyone build a house and they don't include I and I in the house that they build, their house must crumble and fall. Which is what is happening here in this time. We come to oversee the fall of Babylon. You see what I mean? Destroy this thing. Now, switching out of blackness, let us move on to the great country America and examine the foundation of this house that we call America. Well, so them say it call America. They are the one who says call America. I have not spoken to a Native American Indian myself personally to find out what the place was called before these murderers being visited their land. But anyway, let us going back to examine the house called America. Yeah? Now, this house was not built on empty space, you know. The European actually went there and see the red man. What you call the red man? My brethren, the Indian man. Humble man. You know, a man who love to live in nature and respect the earth and them thing. And here was a man now who have no respect for the earth, but just respect for exploitation. And when he went there, the Indian have a lovely house over there, trust me. You know, that man love to smoke the peace pipe and chill and live with nature. And here was these men now from Europe who are exploiters of the earth, went over there now and literally kill off everyone who they could find inside. You know, wipe them out and take over the house. Now, having take over the house and go on and, you know, murder who is murdered, bring I and I people, some of them all the way over from Africa, you know what I mean? Maybe kill off about even a 20 million just crossing the water, dumping whom don't want in the sea, you know? Proper, what them a call genocide, a murder side, that, murder side. Yeah? And then they bring them over there to America now. What they call America? I don't know the name of the place, you know. The Indians must have a different name before these murderers come down on them. Anyway, they go over there now and they set up this, what they call is the greatest country in the world, over there in America. Right now the president in America is a black man. I don't know where him spring from. He never come from the normal civil rights movements. He just appear. But anyway, he is a black man anyway. And yet he's a president in America. But what startled me is, where is the red man? Whose house it is? Where is he? Where is his representative, you know? You don't see him about. You have all these Europeans over there telling other people that they can't come to America because they are foreigners. You know what I mean? Stopping all the Mexican whose country it is before these Europeans went over there. Telling them that they're illegal immigrants and that they can't come to this place. And look how far they are from. They are from Europe. Now you have all a big land down there called Australia. Place called Tasmania. Now, there used to be some brethren on the island Tasmania, some Aborigine. But because Tasmania is not as huge as the rest of Australia, well, they just literally exterminate all the Abos and Tasmania. You know what I mean? These are the European way. In fact, I think Britain used to use Australia like what we call a penal colony, you know? Like if you're a pedophile or a little rapist and murderer that they don't want in England, they just give you a gun to go down Australia and shoot about down there and capture the land. So these land now, these murderers and thieves go down to what they call Australia, doing the same thing as the American. And it's telling other people now that they can't come there. You know what I mean? Now, don't forget there is intelligence within the universe. There is laws, you know, so we have laws called, Indian man them call it like that, like karma. Like cause and effect. Goes around and come around, you know. So, for all the crimes that has been committed against man and man, someone will have to pay still. Well, you know, those who have committed the crime and died, well, they've gone on to their own judgment still, you know. Because you cannot defeat the laws of the universe still, no matter what you do or who you are. So those who have transgressed in that way have gone on. But the system that they set up to run and oppress the souls of other human beings is still running and oppressing the souls of human beings within this time. You know what I mean? And all those things will have to come to you know, pay their dues, as I would say. Well, I don't know how they're going to pay, but I know they're going to pay, and I know for one thing for sure, and this is, I'm 1,000,000% certain about this. No human being can break the law of God and get away with it. Unless you think God's a fool. You see, man? God is not like the police, you know. Like I tell you before. You can always break a law and the police don't know. You see me? Oh, you can't break no law in the universe and get away with that. Because like I tell every human being, you possess within you a black box placed there by the terrible and dreadful God himself, Rastafari. And he's the one that revealed it to me that this is the video of the human soul. You know what I mean? One other thing I would like to talk about now, I'll show you how I man come to have certain insight as well. Because you have to capture certain powers to possess these insight. You see what I mean? And it is Jah himself that give you the ability to capture the power that is going to reveal certain things to you now. So, it's like reversing back now. You see, when I leave Halifax, I come to this town here now called Oldham. Yeah. Oldham is one of the highest points in England for those who don't know Oldham, you know. It's very high up in the hill. And it's called Oldham, and it's got the symbology of the town is an owl. What we in Jamaica call a patu, you know, those birds with big eye, an owl. Well, the owl is used as the symbology or the guardian of wisdom. Yeah? So in Oldham they have what they call a coat of arms. And they've got two owls at the side and one at the top, and underneath they've got some Latin writing. Latin, not English. Saying Sappadea O. So I went up and inquired from them, what does Sappadea O mean? This was a long time, you know. At the time they give me a book and say, look on page 14. And when I look on page 14, it says, Sappadea O mean he who dares to be wise. See what I mean, Marius? Now when I hear that, he who dares to be wise, I says, what? That's me, see? Because I was daring. So that was how I come to discover now the vision of the owl. Now the reason why they use the owl as an image or a guardian of wisdom is because the owl have the ability to see within the dark. This is not the only the owl that have there, but they use the owl kind of a big fat bird, you know. Nocturnal night bird with night vision. Not only has it got night vision, it can see literally night, you know. Spin its head right round to get a good view of everything. So if you discover now the sight of the owl or the vision of the owl, you now have the ability to see within the human soul. You see what I mean? Because human beings live in darkness. And to see in darkness, you need a light. You see what I mean? So now, because I have the light now, I can see within all human beings. Because I know exactly how they are. So a man couldn't be hiding behind his name and telling me that, oh, I am a Chinese, or I am an Arab, I'm Japanese, I'm this, and I eat this, and I eat. Because I don't really care where you eat. Because I just know that you can't be nothing more than a man. A man who is full of shit. Who's born out of mother and live and die. You know, the fact that you dance different and eat different food, you know what I mean, and do all these things, doesn't make you no different from what you are, because you can only be a man. So don't bother think that a man who say, oh, I'm an Arab, and this other man say I'm a Jew, that they are known different. Them are just lying. I've been tricked to believe in names. You know, because you're not no name. You are exactly the same type of human being. You know what I mean? And show me a human being who hasn't got conscience within him. I can show you many human beings who is not living by conscience, or might not be even aware of the presence of conscience. But there's no human being without conscience. You see what I mean? Because God dwells within all. You know what I mean? And all human beings are the same. They might not look the same. You know, just like how all cars don't look the same, but they're still cars. Just the same way. All bodies don't look the same, but them all have the same spirit in them, the same driver that drive them. You know what I mean? So these are the kind of things that we need to understand. And we ain't going to understand any of these kind of things if we have to live amongst human beings. So you have to form a character then, as it was. You have to be somebody. Now, you ain't going to be nobody if you are busy stealing and hating. You know what I mean? And when you're living as well, of course you're going to go under test. What happens if somebody steal you? How are you going to react when you are being robbed? How do you react when a wrong has been done against you? Are you going to react violently? Or are you going to react silently with hate within your heart? Because if you react in any of those kind of way, you won't be able to know the truth. You see what I mean? You have to find a position where you accept good and bad equally. You know what I mean? Because that's the only way you're going to progress anyway. You know what I mean? Many people do me many wrongs. You know what I mean? And I accept them all, you know? I don't bear no grudge against anyone who do me any wrong. I just take it as a lesson to be learned. You know what I mean? They might think I'm feeling bitter against them. But as I'm looking into the camera now, anyone who ever watch me and do me anything at all, trust me, I do not hold bitterness. You know? We have a singer in Jamaica called Babandi. And he sing a song, and a part of the song is about hating. It's like a part in the song, it says, sometime I would like to hate, but I just don't know the trick. I mean, that's how I feel, you know. I wasn't born with hate, you know. Just don't feel. I can be upset and angry and annoyed, yeah, for a while. But hatred cannot enter into my structure, you know. So it's easy to, what you would call, forgive anyone who do me anything. Plus, as you grow and develop, you get to understand that those who are doing you wrong are in the dark anyway, you know what I mean? And you are wishing to help them rather than feeling bitter that they are doing you are wrong. You understand? The little wrong that they are doing is just pettiness. Because they are doing a wrong maybe for a little bit of money and you don't even like money anyway. You know what I mean? You wonder. You could have easy just give it to them without them have to do the things they have to do to get it. You know what I mean? For anyone who perceives themselves as Rasta and is listening to the reason, we'll just make one thing clear. You know what I mean? That when I decided at 27 was the time for I to be Rasta, I never went anywhere and see anyone. So I am not speaking anything that a group of men tell me to, you know what I mean? Like I say, I grow my own lyrics and I spit my own lyrics. You know what I mean? Now, there's no way because I say I'm a Rasta man, many people, the question of Selassie is bound to come up. Because the majority of Rasta are followers of Selassie. As far as I know then, in various forms, whether it is 12 tribe, this, that or that, they are followers of Selassie. Yeah? I am a Rasta, but I'm not a follower of Selassie. That's what I mean. Because to me, Selassie wasn't a Rasta, he was an Ethiopian Orthodox. So if you are following a man, you have to follow his direction. Yeah. So I am not a follower of Selassie. Now, as to His Majesty himself now, he never did tell anyone that he was God. Well, I haven't heard him say that personally. But even Jesus, I never hear Jesus said he was the Son of God, as according to writings, you know what I mean? But other people just say, well, brethren, you are. So some people say Selassie is whoever he is. Now, by their tradition that they are following, no doubt they are correct, because they are coming through a biblical thing. You understand? If you understand anything about the Bible. I don't understand a lot about the Bible, just skimming. So I know that His Majesty throne is coming down from Solomon or something like that anyway. You know what I mean? The title is the Kings of Kings, that throne. You know what I mean? And the Queen of Sheba went and she and Solomon do a thing, and so they said the lineage coming to Ethiopia, you know? So that's how this His Majesty thing coming to Rasta. But one thing I can say about Selassie, I seen Selassie once. Remember when I tell you, I seen Selassie when I was 9-year-old. Yeah. The only thing that I can say about the Emperor of Ethiopia is this. For a man who have the title of Kings of Kings, yeah, I don't know about his deeds or his action, because I don't know the man. I'm just talking about his words. Now, if you should listen to a song that Bob Marley sing called War, and listen to the lyrics, then you will know what type of man Selassie is. Then you will know that, as far as I'm concerned anyway, no other king has ever spoken any word like that. You know? So he spoke like the King of Kings. But King of Kings is a title for earthly matters. You know what I mean? And he speak When you listen to not only the word of why, but his speeches, he's a man that speaks great words. And you know that Rasta always respect anyone who speak great words. You understand? Because Selassie, His Majesty, is my brethren, my brother. Because like I tell you, because Rasta is kind of lunatic in God army, we don't really bow to no one, not even angel. Not even archangel, trust me. Rasta bow to no one but the one himself, because we are on the one business. So in this matter, I and I is one-dimensional. You see what I mean? So it doesn't matter how great the being is, and even when we recognize the words of greatness that the being speak, we just recognize it that, yeah, my brother speaks some nice word, wicked. That's what my brother should have. That's a genuine fighter soldier. We respect that. But we're not in the habit of worshiping any human beings, you know what I mean? Just because they happen to sit on a throne and their position was kings of kings and lords of lords. A earthly title still. You know what I mean? So the Rasta man, like I tell you, I and I, how I and I function Rasta from the 9th level. Do not bow. I say, that kind of attitude, I reckon that's why I was born in Jamaica. Because the attitude now of the Jamaican is, it's like everywhere else you have positive and negative running. So that is the flow in Jamaica. Now, this is the Jamaican negative man now. Imagine that in America you have the mafia, you have the Hispanic, you have all kind of gangs running in America, or maybe in Britain, or it doesn't matter. But you see, once a group of negative Jamaican arrive on that scene, all the other negative men are going to know that he's around. You know what I mean? He's going to make a mark. Because even if it means taking evil to the extreme, he will. Just to let you know that, you know. That's just the attitude. But on the flip side of that, you have the good Jamaican. And he will take goodness to the extreme. Just the same way like the violent Jamaican. You know what I mean? So I am a soldier who take things to the extreme. You know what I mean? So when we go to the extreme now, we do not deal with anyone but the one. Understand? We're not interested in any hierarchy that is set up on any level, in any other dimension, and any group or council of beings who other beings might imagine are running and overseeing. They cannot deal with Rasta like that. Because Rasta just deal with the one. I am the spearhead of God Arrow. You see what I mean? We don't come to deal with any second in command or any group of people or any. Like I tell you, if you imagine all God people line up, when them see Rasta coming, you know, them don't halt or stop in nowhere. They just part the way. Whether them is Archangel, Angel, or Cherubim, any other fancy name with them want the beings them. When them run up in a lunatical soldier of God, them don't know, say, well, you can't argue with a soldier like this. Because all it is an example then. Because everything ape God law, same way. Because the law of man is just an ape of natural law. You know, the shadow. The negative instead of the positive. So the same way you have the army. God have army as well, you know. People who, you know, love God and, you know. But it's just that we are like what you would call now the SAS in the army. Special forces. We are the special forces of God army. We take loving God to the extreme. You see, man, we take loving what is right and correct like lunatics. You know what I mean? You see, like when some people, when they consume a lot of alcohol, they become so drunk that they become stupefied. and don't even know what they're doing. So it's the same thing with the Ras. When I drink God so much now that I become drunk and intoxicated. You see me? Yeah, so we don't know nothing else more than that. So it's like, just imagine then that some people might say go to Mecca and maybe they're looking for some spiritual awakening in Mecca, and just go and jump in the Ganges. I say I go to that Stonehenge, whatever holy spot they might think of, you know what I mean? Some are sitting in long meditation and chanting and reciting and doing all kind of things to get in touch with the God or the creative energy as they would see. Well, there's a simpler way of doing all that. Just live honestly and truthfully within the heart, and that brings you to a permanent meditative state. So I don't meditate really, but it's like this is our meditation. Everyone is meditating anyway, they just don't know it. So let's say a man who's got a criminal mind. Well, all the time his mind is constantly working over time on how to plan or get his next criminal activity through. So he's in full meditation on that. You understand? So if you switch it round and you have a man now who is concentrating on goodness, it's the same thing. So that means every day when he wake up, his mind is, planning on every day, every minute of the day, him spend him plan how him could, just like how the criminal would be planning how him could make the next dollar. You see me? Just on the flip side, every day, so you become set like that, like program. You become like how you program a computer and it just repeat. You program your mind. You know what I mean? So after a while you live in that state anyway. So that means if you was in a football match, you meditate just the same. What difference would it make? Doesn't matter. The mind would be in a place that even if a nuclear bomb explode, you'll still be meditating if you're not dead. You see me? Because nothing can, once the mind gets set in that position, nothing can alter it. It's not going to turn back tomorrow or change tomorrow. It becomes permanently set in a meditative state. And you get that simply, not by going and reading any books or seeing any great master, but just by honesty. Just by living without hating anyone, and don't be greedy and jealous and lustful just because that man have a car and you haven't got a car, Instead of loving material things, you love honesty, humbleness, truthfulness, innocency, morality. They all mix up together. And then you call on the assistants to help you have willpower, enthusiasm, determination, love. And why do you need all these things? Because you are seeking truth. You see what I mean? And when you are seeking the truth, you have to do it with all these soldiers around you. So, once you start, God will give you these soldiers so that you will do the job in enthusiasm, determination, willpower, honesty, and truthfulness. You see what I mean? So not you become driven. I show you what you have to do to escape now. Well, here is the mind. This is an illustration. You don't have to take it. That's what it look like. You know what I mean? Can you see it, Marius? Yeah, this here is drawn as the mind. Yeah, this is the top then, and this is the bottom. And I've drawn it that it's got 9 dimensions or 9 levels. These compartments represent different dimensions of the mind. So some people get in those dimensions and they are studying whatever they want to study right down there in those dimensions. Yeah? But anyway, this is the basement of the mind. And all human beings start in the basement of the mind. That's where we grow up. That's where we get educated, where we launch. In the basement of the mind, we can be anything. Great singers, great painters, great artists, great writers, great storytellers, all manner of things. But no one is going to leave the basement until they admit to themselves that what they are doing in the basement is not correct. If you don't come to this realization, you will die in the basement. Those who come to that realization, this here represents like a door. Once you've been honest, this door opens and you come to the next level. So it's as if you look at it as a high-rise flat. If you are in the basement, you are not aware that there's any windows. You don't even know that there's trees. But once you come to the second level, you are now in the second level of awareness. You know, what you could not understand down here, you can now understand up here. And so it goes on. But each department is still sealed. And it's only sincerity that will open the doors. But just imagine that one man was sincere. Instead of heading off in any one of these dimensions, because all these are different dimensions down here, there is one straight road through the mind. There. Opening up all these doors, all these doors, all these doors, all these doors, until you reach the 9th level of the mind. When you reach the 9th level, you'll be able to see that behind the mind is the terrible and dreadful one. When I say the terrible and dreadful one, I mean the Spirit of God. Don't get too excited when I say the terrible and dreadful one. If you don't want to call it God, then just call it the Supreme Intelligence. Because some people get a bit upset. I don't know what if you tell them it's Rastafari, they don't like that. If you say God, some don't like God. If you say the light, if you say conscience, they don't like conscience. Well, let's just say behind the mind is the Supreme Intelligence. You understand? Now, a 9th grade soldier like me, I don't know if there's any more 9th grade soldier. I don't know if there's any more 9th grade soldier, you know. Because like I tell you before, the soldiers that preach about God before, they talk about God up in heaven and all. They teach people about God in a mysterious way. But a bad boy soldier like me, I don't teach in any mysterious ways. You understand? I just tell the man or the woman that God is in you directly. Because I know the Father myself. You understand? I have seen him. Well, if you listen to some of the video that I make, and you'll be able to see that I explain how I had a vision of the terrible and dreadful one. You know what I mean? Now, as far as I know, because when I come to that realization, I spend a lot of time what I would call reading or skimming the history of all religion and wise men, and as much as I could read. I read as much book as I could read. Just skim around. All the wise men, all the great, whether it was Buddha, Jesus, whoever, and to see how they explain the one. And not one of them have ever said they seen the one. I am the first bad boy general who is saying that I have seen the one. So that will be a remarkable thing for human being to swallow. Well, people in old time used to think I'm a lunatic. So now you, the world, have a chance to think of me as a lunatic. Because I have seen the one. You know what I mean? But whether the world want, I don't care if the 7 billion people on the planet don't want to believe that. You know what I mean? I don't care. I'm not here to prove anything. I know what is right. So I'll be saying what is right anyway. And I know that any human being, like I said before, I'm such a bad boy soldier that when I'm reasoning with myself, I usually say, listen, any human being, living or dead, because sometimes when you're speaking like this, you know, I reckon even some souls who passed before are gathered in this room. You gather to hear some of the teachings. So I'm saying no. Whether the soul is living in the flesh or is dead, if they don't listen to what I'm saying, they will continue down a dark passage. You know what I mean? To what I say. So that means me alone could teach the whole universe. You might think that is a boss, but no boaster could ever know God, trust me. So I am not saying me, Ital, could teach the whole universe. You know, conscience. Would you agree? Would you agree that conscience can teach the whole universe? If you don't know, think about it. Because conscience is a super duper. Such a super duper that I don't know how many billions of people died before, but conscience was dwelling with them. There's 7 billion on the planet now, they say conscience is in all of them. Doesn't matter what religion or color they claim there is. My master. I shouldn't call it conscience, say my master, the terrible and dreadful overlord himself, Rastafari, is dwelling within all human beings. Now, if there is any wise men out there, I'm always hearing about these great teachers and wise men. And I have never met one of them yet. As if they must be hiding somewhere. But now that we are in the time of video, where we can make video, I will allow these wise men to hear these words. And when you hear the words, if you are not telling your fellow human being that, listen, what this soldier is saying is true, that means you don't know God. You understand? So when you hear my words, you are supposed to inform all your pupils that there is the word of the terrible and dreadful God himself, Rastafari. You see what I mean? Because just like I tell human beings, I am the masters of all masters. Don't get me wrong, you know, I never says Ital was, conscience is. But conscience is my teacher still. So, you know, because I work for conscience, well, you don't know, it's an easy thing for me, like I say, to dispel wisdom. And I have no knowledge still, you know. Like, I'm forever repeating how thick I am. And anyone who knows me will know that's true. You know what I mean? But that is another thing where you can see the greatness of God. I never stop and marvel when I think about it and look at you. You are as thick as they come, as stupid. You can't build nothing, you can't sing nothing. You know what I mean? You come to England and your father run you out of the house and leave you on the street. And what happened? All this time, who rescue you? Who rescue me? Jah! So that is how great God is. So that's another thing now. Because I am so stupid and thick, God decided to use somebody now. Because God is a comedian, you know. That's why anyone who don't know God don't know that God is everything. Magic, funny, serious, joker. God is everything. God just love all of them things, man. You know? He's got a great sense of humor, the Father. Terrible and dreadful. So because I'm saying, alright then, watch here now. This man here is a complete idiot. You know what I mean? Don't no. You know what I'm saying? But one thing now with this man, you know, him love what is right. So what the Father do now is just teach I what is right. So I have no interest in anything else like I tell a human being. It's hard for them to understand this. But gold and diamond don't fascinate me, or big house, or anything on earth. You know what I mean? I love the earth and love looking at birds and the sea and all that. Well, it doesn't fascinate me like, oh, this is nice diamond. Money doesn't fascinate me. Heaven don't fascinate me. You know, like how some people want to go to heaven. I look at, the only thing that fascinates me is the truth. Yeah, now you're talking. I am very fascinated and in love with what is right and correct. I love it. You know what I mean? Drink it, tell me drunk and tumble down, turn over. Every day, me drunk and what is right. and correct. You know, that's you find that in the universe everything is under law. And I love that. I love law. You see? So that is why I choose the scientific way. Because I am a scientist. Like I tell you before, because we live in a two-dimensional positive and negative, you can have a positive and a negative scientist. So I am a positive scientist. That does not mean, you know, that a man who is an outside scientist can't be positive. But very rarely you will find that such a scientist now is cast on the outside by the rest of scientists. You know? Because to be a true science of the inner heart and the outer form, you have to be pure and clean. You have to be honest. You see what I mean? And that is what is defeating most human beings. They do not understand that if you want to know what is correct and what is right, that you have to be honest. It's like me drink a water and show you. You see this glass here now? If you pour clean water in it, it will remain clean. But if the glass get dirty and you put some ash in it and you throw that same clean water in it, it will get dirty and it will spoil the water. Well, the human mind is like that. It's like a glass. And the water that is supposed to pour in it is the words of the terrible and dreadful God himself, Rastafari, our conscience, if you want to call it that. But because the mind get dirty by all the negative behavior of man, whatever form that negativity take, the mind of man and woman has become dirty. So when we pour truth in it, it cannot contain it. It becomes contaminated. Not because the truth is not the truth, but because your mind is dirty. So I would say to all human beings, you hear me? Me tell you, me a bad boy soldier. What I'm saying, you need to clean your mind. You see me? Because these words, like I tell you, are coming from beyond the regions of the mind. You understand? So any soldier or any living being who think, like I tell you, that they could out-reason me, you are going to come and reason with me through your mind. When I'm firing from beyond the regions of the mind, you would be, it would be as if you face with something like this. The sun is, they say, is 93 million miles away from the earth, while the moon is 250,000 miles away. So now I'm firing from the regions of the sun while you're still on the moon. You see what I mean? That's all it is. Don't ask me how it come to be like that. If you want to know, go and ask God. I don't know God business. One thing I must make very clear: my relationship with God. Just because I say I have that vision and I see the one, that does not mean that I know the one. I do not know the one, but I do know the one. So it's like, you see the universe. You can know the moon and the sun and all these things and star and the earth. You know what I mean? You can know something and, you know. So that's what God is like. I know a little bit about God, yeah, in this, but I don't know God. How can you know something that is everywhere? And how could you ever know something that is as deep as the universe? Because obviously, you know what I mean, when you take one step, Jah is always receding away in the distance.